If you are the chairman, you should be initialing the claims. If there's a claim for the commissioner, since another commissioner should sign it, because you shouldn't be double signing in lieu of another person.
Go ahead and sign it then.
You've gotta have that redundancy for,
There's one for the
protection of fraud.
water recorder too.
Mr. Green was at the Lincoln Day dinner. He won the 50-50.
Nice. Thank you for the invitation. We were cleaning out Helen's house
Oh, were you?
on Sunday,
Trying
yeah.
to sell it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna go home again. So I would much rather go to dinner.
I've been through that, I know how that is.
No, you do. I thought of you.
Ugh.
But thank you very much. I would like to go next year. Did they have one in the fall too?
No.
2 a year, just 1 a year? Okay.
Okay, so
They did the drawing that they had, I can remember, some sort of gun, John Henry or, I don't remember, because I don't know guns, but anyway, they started it clear last fall at the,
Fall Fest?
I think it was at the Fall Fest that they started that gun.
I bought tickets.
Did you? When they drew out, Ron won it,
Oh,
the
really?
chairman.
Oh, that's nice.
I said, rigged. And her husband's birthday was the next day, so that worked out
Oh.
nice.
Very good.
And she had said when we came in, she was talking about into buying some tickets. And she said that her husband says, a guy can't have too many guns.
That's true.
I see some more horse bills in there.
yeah. Me too.
They vaccinate for strangles?
What?
Do they vaccinate for strangles evidently?
I don't know, these horses get vaccinated for everything.
Well, they were vaccinated for strangles, and I thought, we've never vaccinated, I've heard of strangles, but we've never vaccinated for it. Never even heard of anybody having it.
And trimming out, of course, I guess these here probably where they are in the pen, they might need trimming, but hell, 90% of the time, your horses don't need trim to get ready to shoe them. Unless they're on soft ground, there's times, you know.
Right, soft ground.
But, anyway, it's, we resume our meeting at 1:30.
Is the camera on? All right. Franklin, you just handed me a Townsend water bill to sign. You didn't initial that yet, right?
Whatever you handed back, our initial.
Oh, you shouldn't. That needs to be signed for us to take action. But if it's coming out of PILT, it needs a vote. You can't sign it and approve it until you've got a vote of the commission.
Also move.
I'll second.
Okay. We left off,
Call for
Point
the
of
vote.
order.
oh, okay. Vote on the motion to pay that, water and sewer, I guess it was.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, give me a second, all in favor, motion passed. When we broke, we were still talking about that resolution and stuff on the speed limit. Do we have any more we wanna discuss on that now?
No,
Don't
I
think-
recall, and if it's needed, but we tabled it till next week at 2 o'clock.
Mhm.
So, we'll resume that discussion at 2 o'clock next week.
Wait a minute, which meeting, are those minutes, or that agenda's already been sent out?
You will have to do a revised agenda. Talk to Tammy about it. You'll have to add that to it, and then it'll have to be posted in 3 places.
Mhm.
And if you get it to Roger, he will put it up in Winston.
And it's at 1:45, not 2 o'clock, you had said.
so that has 145.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I had down here. Okay, I guess we'll go through some more. Now, those resolutions, that we had that one time and everything, and we come to the meeting and I didn't have it, because everything I brought down wasn't there and Ober wasn't here. Do we have to advertise those 2 times, or just the once?
No, they have to be advertised twice.
Okay, so we advertise, starting the next meeting, or the March meeting, and then have it in 2 weeks down.
I have a question. Will that include that loan for the building project?
That wasn't on the last, no, it was just the 3 resolutions.
But it was previously on it.
Yeah, but then it wasn't,
So when do you foresee it being public?
I don't know if I don't know, because it was scratched off for that, deleted on the resolution that I have. So if that's gonna be brought up another time, it'll have to be brought up then.
What's the story of the meeting Friday?
Oh, Scott would like an RSVP, he wants to know for
You
sure.
know
if
that
we're gonna do
meeting,
that.
that's coming back.
Good. He, along with Commissioner Dave Schultz, and, we boards and commissioners from the surrounding counties, so I think it's Gallatin, Jefferson for sure, Broadwater, not sure the others. But, this is a training on, how to conduct yourself in a board, what the board is for, how to best communicate with the commissioners and other boards. He's got Dan Clark with the Local Government Center and Dave Schultz, who used to be a weed coordinator, doing the training. And it's for weed board members, weed coordinators, and county commissioners. So I have it on my list here to discuss. He would like to know if the 3 of us are going. I have confirmed I will go, and I've also reserved a fusion.
And I confirmed that I would be going.
Cool, all right. We can carpool
Yeah.
if we like and save the county some gas money. So is that 2 RSVPs, Franklin, or 3?
Yeah, I told, he stuck his head in here, I told him I was gonna be there.
All right.
So did anybody miss me at workshop?
Everybody is asking about you except for Sil.
And she's gone
She
now.
is, yeah, but no, everybody asked about you. A lot of prayers went out your direction.
I'll
So
take every prayer I can get.
you have an awful lot of support in those people. I
Thank
think
you.
very highly of you.
But I have to tell you, my 2 heart appointments came back very well.
Oh, good.
So I was
Yay.
tickled with that.
That's cool.
Not the rest of them haven't yet, but
Yeah, to be in the operative word.
yeah. We're still doing more testing, but I feel like I've been poked and prodded for,
Oh, man.
but I was really tickled with the heart one because it's 10 years since my surgery.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Here's a letter from the Stillwater County Commissioners that are, support House Bill 235.
And what is House Bill 235?
Okay, it says it adjusts the allocations of the metal, ferrous mines, license tax to the county, experience and financial and economic impact for an improved large-scale mine mineral development. The increased allocation of money to a county in this bill would be used for Hard Rock Mine Trust account planning and economic development in schools.
This was discussed at conference at length, both in hard rock impact mining and with the legislative update. Basically, what they want to do is flop the amount of money that's received from the proceeds of mining. The state currently gets 57 or so %. Counties get like 37. They want to swap it. counties, because they're dealing with the impacts, should have the bulk of the money to take care of roads and law enforcement and all the other things that go with it. So that's what the bill is. The letter is, and the email that came with that letter, is addressing the amendment to it. What they wanna do is divide all the money evenly between all the different schools. Well, not all schools are impacted by mining, even in one county. So the pushback from Mako and from Stillwater County is, let's just keep it like it was. Schools that are in the impact zone would, under the original bill, be impacted financially to the positive, not schools outside. So, Maureen asked us for a letter of support, and we've already voted to support House Bill 235, so if you guys are agreeable, I'd be happy to pen a letter
Please do.
and send it off.
Okay with me. Here's there for MBAC. It's Deer, Elaine, Lauren, Franklin, closed the Montana Business Systems Connection Incorporated quarter reports for the period ending December 31st, 2014. The Broward County revolving loan fund. There were no new loans originated during the quarter, and all existing loans are current and performing as agreed. Please review the enclosed and let me know if you have any questions. I can be reached at the number. Hope things are going well. We appreciate your support of our economic and community development with regards. Anybody wants to read that over?
I've seen that already. It's just our quarterly report.
What can you tell us about what just took place there? Or can you?
I can't.
Yeah, okay. And I apologize, I shouldn't have asked you. I just said, she'll know. Okay.
I don't know all of it. I was stopped at conference by some people who wanted to talk about it, but who were on the board. But no, I never got to sit down with them. But Sharon, this is just a report we get of the revolving loan fund for the county.
This is from the Rural Fire Program Manager, DNRC. Actually, I should just probably go to the, there's some questions and stuff here they have. This would be for the fire department, county fire district, fire department, fire service area, volunteer fire company, equipment and supplies and stuff like that.
So if somebody is kind of falling back on these loans, who goes after them? Is
And
that
back,
back?
most of them are complimentary loans to a bank. Anthony, you see the mail, Franklin? I think we should all be looking at this stuff. So most of them are complimentary to a bank loan, so the banks will usually go after them because they're the first to be paid,
Mhm.
and then MBAC gets whatever's left over.
DEQ, and it's application City of Boulder for wastewater treatment facility.
Okay, Franklin, this is not for the rural fire district, this is for the Broadwater County Commission. What it's asking is our opinion as a commission on how we think that the relationship is working. This is not to be just handed off to someone else, this is our responsibility to answer.
The relationship on what?
I'm gonna give it to Franklin as the chairman, but it's basically, the relationship between our fire district, and DNRC. they're gonna be looking for a lot of different people's perceptions.
Public Service Commission, and this is Lux Transfer Storage out of Bozeman, and just for Class B household goods. It's gonna be hauling Class C property within the city of Bozeman, Class C property in all points of place in Madison v. Red County. There's the map. There's the envelope for it.
We don't need these, I'm gonna give them back to you.
This here, probably should, what time it's, I'm assuming, well, I better open this, probably the bill for the TV, Vigilante. Well, for a change, well, I got this, it wasn't a bill for a change, it's that, meeting they have, their annual meeting in Dillon every year.
Oh, Vigilante?
Yeah.
Lord, I didn't know that.
Did you get yours yet?
Yeah,
Oh, here's,
and I was just reading this PSC thing, and Brad Johnson is the chairman. He just was elected to that job. I didn't know he was chairman.
here, this is yours, Elaine, from Reed District or something there.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I got that from. Are you answering this one or?
Yeah, I took a copy already.
Oh, okay.
Here's from the Lions Club. Your County Commissioner Broadwater County Lions Club is asking for permission to use the county courthouse lawn for our annual Easter egg hunt. The event will be held Saturday morning, April 4th. Enclosed a certificate of insurance for the event. We will be using plastic eggs again this year. I can be contacted at 266. Question regarding this? Thank you for your assistance. I guess, oh, here's a, I don't know who's this, a copy of the insurance. Does that go to, Tammy files that, or?
No, probably in the commissioner's office, and I will move that we respond in the affirmative to the Lions and grant them the county park for the Easter egg hunt on 4/4.
Second that motion.
Motion's made and seconded for the Lions to go ahead and have their annual Easter egg hunt on the courthouse lawn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
And they'll need something in writing. Franklin, if you would pass that around so we can make sure that it's in the record of the mail that we received.
Here we are. Montana prayer breakfast. Be Saturday, March 7th, Carroll College. Rabbi Pastor Jack Zimmerman.
In here.
Anybody interested in that?
We usually send somebody to this. That's the morning of the Leprechaun Festival, that the hospital auxiliary does. I'm sharing that this year, so I can't go, but if you, either of you want to, I'm gonna turn up the heat. It supports you going.
I get a letter at home. What?
Here's a CenturyLink bill. All I know is there's the sheriff wrote out, says this does not belong to the sheriff. Bill $50, it doesn't.
This is part of her lawsuit.
This is an internet service here, I guess.
That's exactly it. Her lawsuit had that FOIA request on it, Freedom of Information Act, and DIS didn't wanna do anything until that was finished. So we actually are paying for two different internet services right now. We're half in one and half out of the other, so we're paying in full for both. This is her action, so I don't know what you guys wanna do about this, but again, it's another bill that needs to be paid, and we've got late charges racking up. The settlement has been, accepted by her attorney. So I sent an email to the county attorney asking, can we go ahead and move forward? I haven't heard anything back at this time. What do you guys think?
Let's wait until we hear from Corey then.
And then just let the fees continue to rack up and, all right. I will just slide this by so we have record of it for the
We got
minutes.
another one, it's action from the BLM call me. I thought that was all taken care of. It's that bill on communications, it was $2,511.
And who's that for?
Well, it's Broadwater County. Apparently it had come to Brenda, and she says, the only thing she ever had to do with it was she had to give them the location where it's at. And so the bill come to her, so she turned it over to,
We're in the basement now.
to us, and then I called, nobody knew anything about the bill, so I called that Ashley, and she sent out the information and everything, but it hadn't been paid, so.
And what did the information say?
It just told where this site, I think I might even have a copy of that.
Or something. Yeah, so I guess we're getting that.
Hi, guys.
Ready?
Why don't we go ahead with our guest here. Go back this up.
We're still early and don't have everyone here.
Yeah, I guess we can wait another 5 minutes. Okay, so back on this BLM. Let's see here. We sent to, and we had it too, so.
Can you go to?
No, I wasn't, which is surprising, because I usually am.
Hannah and I wonder, so we get to.
Wiser.
Yeah, I wish, you know. No, I'm sure I'm- Even my nose is clear. My nose and my toes. This one gets covered.
this is when I called her on January 13th.
Okay.
Send detailed invoice to
Good.
commissioners, and that's what it had come. So, we then have it, get that taken care of.
Well, what I'm curious about it is, it's never come to the commission. It went to the sheriff, it was filled out by the sheriff, there's a new bill that's never been on there before. Nobody's told us why that's the case, and there's been 2 months of late fees. I
That's
think we
why-
need to get some answers on
That's
this.
why I called it, she sent this to Tam, everything was sent to her.
The commission hasn't seen it, Franklin, I think the commission needs to see it before we start paying them.
Well, let it ride then, that's what it's gonna be. If we're that about, we gotta pay it.
I think we need for you to follow through.
I did, I called her and had the stuff sent.
Would you share it with us, please?
It went to Tammy, that's why I told her to send it to her. And Tammy, in fact, I think there might be a note here that says about it here.
Would you read those aloud, please?
Called, for further information, I called it, but I don't know if this important, it's the first time I have received any question or anyone, thanks. We're gonna go for the Limestone Tower, not sure how this has been paid in the past, or why it was mailed late. Last year or this year, it has to be paid. But whatever it was sent to her.
What you need to do is talk to Tammy, get the information, and bring it to the commission so that we can make a decision on what the next step needs to be. It isn't Tammy's decision to make, it's this commission's.
Yeah, but it should have been stuck in with these here then. When it first come to Brenda to start off with, she's the one that brought it to us.
No, it went to Tammy. Tammy brought it to us with a big question mark because there was so much new information in it. We need to be able to address this issue.
Well, last time she still got it, but anyway, it just keeps going on, so. Just wait a couple minutes yet.
Would you push the Kleenex over here, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
I was told, and you were too, Elaine, was gonna have the meeting down here a while back, and Commissioner Obert said that this room didn't meet fire code and
That's
everything.
correct. Mhm.
Right, Len?
That's correct.
Yes. So anyway, I just went ahead and called the fire marshal and find out what's wrong. There's nothing wrong with the room, there's no violation here. And the way it's set right now, we can have 26 people in here. And with some modification of this desk, we can have 33 people in here. The only violations that there are, then he went all through the courthouse, and I wasn't with him other than this room here. Is the exit out here is blocked with chairs and stuff. In the janitor's room, the door is blocked open, and that's a fire door, and has to be closed at all times.
Hey,
And
Mike,
there was
this
a
is
fire
Laura. You wanna
extinguisher
come down?
Upstairs that was on the floor, should have been
Okay, thanks. Bye.
hung up.
But it doesn't take out the fact that that's the only door in and out of here.
That's, but there's no problem with him.
Well, it is with the rest of us.
And that door's locked.
Yeah, that one.
So anyway, because if there's a violation, we should take care of it. There was, other these others that the janitor has to take care of it. So there could be, without any problem, 26 people in this room.
Hey, Scott, this is Laura. Can you come on in? We're downstairs.
Okay.
Thanks. We had a couple of employees who requested to talk to us about this. I told them I'd call them when the subject came up. I think it's inappropriate that it was brought up at 2 o'clock when we have something on the agenda for 2. But.
Well, we can go with these people, this here can always be taken care of. If anybody wants to see a copy, there's a copy from State Fire Marshal.
Nope,
There's a chair for you.
I'm good, thank you.
Mike's coming down too in about 5 minutes,
Okay,
so.
okay. We'll come back in here in a second or two.
Perfect, thanks a lot, Scott.
Yep.
Should be the same letter, I think, if they've been opening Scotch State back.
Just sign, maybe,
So it's the same letter.
Yeah, if you could just sign and what department.
Yeah.
It needs to come over here and stand,
So
so,
it's
Yeah.
misspelled in the paper. You can't blame me.
Citizen.
She has been working after she says
I would remove public
Yeah.
This is the extension on it here, that's Hank works at our, she's out there before anyway. Well, I'm already starting these folks here.
I think we should, they're on the agenda.
Okay, Sean, you wanna come on up? Or whoever's first there. I guess you're the first one here. Or you can sit there and talk if you want to, it's fine with, however you wanna do it.
Nah, I think I'll just stay back here. If that's okay for me. Yeah, so I guess, this is Ryan Mattson, who's the new facility manager at Canyon Ferry. So, he's the new boss. Yeah. So as far as, what we've got going on, that might, impact folks is, the biggest thing I can think of is the Goose Bay, construction at this point is still going. They haven't, they've only missed a few days this winter because of weather, so, still moving along, on schedule. And, a lot of stuff going on out there. I think they got a crew of probably 20 people working out there every day.
Well,
So still on schedule to be, that construction to be complete this fall, I believe. So,
Sean, when do you anticipate it to be done?
this fall is, I think it was supposed to be in, October or November was the date when it was supposed to be complete.
Thank you.
Anything else, or what?
Can't think of anything else other than that that's really big, so unless anybody's got any questions about anything.
I have a thank you. We did review the maps, Ryan, thanks for the phone calls. I think, there's more clarity as far as where the county line ends and VOR starts, so I thought you guys handled that exceptionally well. Thank you very much. Dana did a little bit extra work on a portion of the road that's VOR is not county, just not realizing it. And I think these guys handled that, exceptionally well, like I said. So, thank you very much. Thanks for giving us the chance to go through a learning curve with that. So,
Not a problem.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Because you're the new permanent, you're not acting or anything, you're the new guy.
We didn't bring another acting. There's been a few, right?
They still haven't provided me the business cards that they hand
Okay,
out.
I guess we'll move on. Can't remember your name now. Fish and Game there.
Oh, Adam?
Adam.
Yeah, big thing is many of you have probably seen the newspaper, we, did the elkhorn capture operation for the elk study. We're starting up in the elkhorns, we did that, ended up doing that the last week of January. We ended up, being about a week ahead of when we'd originally planned due to some weather issues. The crew was supposed to be down in Paradise Valley, because of poor weather down there, they ended up coming up here, but we ended up putting out 30 collars on cow elk and 15 on bull elk. I think there's been several articles in some of the various newspapers, but we got a pretty good distribution around the mountain range. Took us probably about a half a day longer than we had originally anticipated, but just very tough environmental conditions to go try to find elk. Very little snow out there, very warm temperatures. We're in the 40s, even 50 degrees, and particularly during the middle of the day, that just makes it challenging to find out. But we persevered, and like I say, we're pretty happy with the distribution. Want to thank all the, we had access pretty much from all the private landowners around the mountain range. Really appreciate that. Given the environmental conditions, most of the elk we actually did end up capturing up either on Forest Service or BLM, just because there was hardly, down in like the Crow Creek country, very little snow up there. Those elk were basically right up against the the heavy timber that they use for summer and fall range and everything like that. So just the weather's kind of playing putting a damper on trying to get any surveys done. Was up in the air this morning flying an elk survey and part of Hunting District 392. We'll finish that up in the morning, but otherwise we haven't, just waiting for things. Kind of cool morning this morning. Typically either want to, some combination of at least cooler weather, keep those elk out as long as possible to keep them from timbering up on you and everything. Once again, there's just right now not a whole lot of snow up there, up on the north end of the Big Belch. Like I say, there's some snow cover out there in the mountains, but not a lot. Hopefully we'll get some more snow. Otherwise, things coming up, given elk numbers in 390, Hunting Districts 391, 392, we'll see what the surveys show, but anticipating probably an increase in antlerless elk B license numbers for both 391 for sure. Like I say, 392 more than likely. I'm expecting numbers to be up with the change in position a couple of years ago when my predecessor Tom Carlson retired, and that district hadn't been flown in a couple of years. So, like I say, we saw quite a few elk this morning and had a chance to. We take generally digital photos of all the larger groups so we can get a good count, blow them up on the computer, and like I say, just landed a couple hours ago, so I haven't had a chance to look at those or anything like that.
Where is 391 and 392?
What's that?
Where is
391 is the district that goes from Dry Creek to Duck Creek, and then 392 is from Duck Creek up to the Gates of the Mountains Wilderness. They're on the east side of Canyon Ferry. 380, once again, we'll have to see what the survey numbers are in regard to antlerless elk B license quota, but we may not change the total number, but I could foresee maybe shifting. Right now, there's, for those of you who are familiar with that district, we have 3 different antlerless elk B licenses. There's one that's valid for the entire district. one that's more towards the south end of the district and one on the north end. I could see just the north end and the south end, we get a lot of elk that end up down on private land, a little bit more private land conflicts there. That middle group, most of the elk are on national forest for most of the year, so could see potentially shifting some of those numbers around, so trying to get more harvest on that north and south end on those groups that are more associated with private land. But like I say, I'm got my fingers crossed weather-wise that it'll be cooperative here over the next month or so and everything like that.
Is there much snow in the mountains?
What's that?
Is there much snow in the mountains?
Like say the big belts, we literally, it was this time of the year, you have a hard, given the current snow, you like to have a good, what we feel is a pretty solid line that that above this point, there's just probably too much snow. Unfortunately, there's really nothing like that out there right now. We're literally, those, based on snow conditions, we, outside of like Mount Baldy, Mount Edith, the really high peaks, but going further north, you could literally, given based on snow condition, those elk could literally be clear to the top of the divide between the Mark County side and the Broadwater. I think there was probably more snow out there earlier, and then it's kind of, with the warm temperatures melted down. So a lot of times once those animals push lower onto winter range, particularly the cow-calf groups, they usually won't go back up until, spring green up. They start following the green up. But bulls, you're kind of, you end up having to fly a lot more area under those type of conditions. And like I say, the elkhorns, when we did that capture operations there earlier in the year, back in December, January, if you drove up to Helena, there was a ton of snow up in the Helena Valley. That has since melted, and like I say, once again, you got to go way high in the mountains for snow. So I don't think they're. Be curious. I don't know. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of snow in the local mountains, other portions of the state. I think the snowpack's holding up pretty good, but like I say, around here in a lot of places, hopefully we'll get some more snow through March and April here. Otherwise, the runoff's going to be interesting and everything like that. So we don't got anybody from the NRCS here. I need to give us a SNOTEL update or whatever and stuff like that. So that's in regard to the fisheries side. I asked Ron. He, as you're probably aware, the Deep Creek project, which tied heavily in with the NRCS, that's progressing along. And I think you guys are pretty well up to speed on that and everything like that. So that's about all I really got.
Okay, well, thank
Unless
you.
anybody's got any questions or anything like that. So.
I have a little piece for you, Adam,
Okay.
to share with Ron. We just lost a big piece of the Deep Creek project. We needed a TSEP grant from the legislature to address 3 bridges, Carson, Flynn, and Lightning Barn, and we didn't get it. If they'd funded it at the same level as last year, we would have been good. They didn't. They slashed it, and now it looks like there's no funding. That was going to be a match. So if you could let Ron know.
You want me to have him call you or for?
Call me and Kelly Flynn. That
Okay.
would be good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have they passed that, or is it?
That's what's going to the next step, so
Okay, so the budget, it could potentially be added back in or something.
with
or
enough
something.
pressure, yes,
Okay.
it could.
Okay.
So, yeah, just to let Ron know.
Okay.
Sean Higley's kind of taken point on that at this point.
Who's it?
Sean Higley,
Oh, okay.
and he's been working with Ron.
Okay.
So if you could just let Ron know, I think he'll probably know the next
Yeah.
steps to
No,
take.
we'll do.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Andy, you're with the BLM.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Scott Haight with BLM, and I'm not like these guys, I can't do it, off the top of my head, I had to make a list, so here's,
Nice.
anyway, here's just kind of a, this is kind of a list of what I could come up with that we might have going on in Broadwater County.
What's your last name?
Last name is Haight, H-A-I-G-H-T.
There's a camera right behind you.
Oh, my, oh. Try to get out of the camera. Just going down, running down some of the things we got going on. Of course, the Limestone Hills, we just transferred that over to the Department of Army. That was about 18,000 acres. That was probably the biggest thing, and that happened a year and a half ago. We're still trying to work with them to get what's called a mining implementation agreement in place. You know, the legislation transferred the administration of that area over to the Department of Army, and they licensed it to the Montana Guard. But the legislation also told BLM to keep the grazing responsibilities and the mining regulation responsibilities in there. That includes the Indian Creek mine, Graymont's mine in there. So trying to coordinate all that and put that together is something we're still working on with the Guard and the Army. Then we've also got our Iron Mask watershed planning area. And you know, the Iron Mask acquisition, that was about 5,600 acres, I think, in 2007. We got from you know, through some purchase and work with RMEF. And then it's a little bigger than, you know, the whole planning area is 26,000 acres. And we're completing a management plan on that. We did have a public comment period last June here, an open house and stuff. Didn't get a lot of turnout, but we, you know, the few people that did show up had a lot to say, so we're still chewing on those comments. One of the things I wanted to mention is probably the proposed action and one of the preferred alternatives is to put in a, you know, a trailhead, a parking area, and maybe a bathroom and a kiosk out there at White Horse Lane, just to the west of the railroad tracks there. We still have some question about, you know, crossing the tracks there and who's got the road right away there and what kind of permits we'd have to get from the railroad, and how that might work out. And people just kind of informally cross that now, but I was just out there was not even a stop sign there, so that could be an issue. And then the other part of that plan is there's a lot of debate over whether to put a trailhead there and then another one a mile into the west, and whether hunting should all be walk-in or whether people should be able to get in there and be on par with a couple folks that have right-of-ways that get them in that, you know, a mile in. So we've heard from a lot of different interest groups on the pros and cons of that, and not quite sure how we're going to end up, but it'll likely be put in the first one and see how it goes. And then if the second one, you know, if we get a lot of comments, we'll see about the second one. So. We've also got the Iron Mask mine reclamation. When we acquired that property, there was about 13,000 yards of mine waste sitting out there. We're gonna hopefully this summer get that cleaned up and put into a covered repository, get some soil over that and get it revegetated. We're doing that under our CERCLA funding that we get from Congress. It comes under the Superfund Authority, although these aren't the nasty Superfund sites you're talking about, it's just mine waste. So we're trying to get those cleaned up. We started our Missouri River Foothills watershed plan last year, got the field work done. We're gonna put out a proposed travel management plan for that area and some grazing permits this year. So you'll see a proposed travel plan come out for comment really soon, I'm hoping. I was looking at it the other day, it's almost done. And then the grazing permit renewals would be pretty straightforward, I
Now,
think.
whereabouts that one located at?
Those are located, a lot of it is along the very eastern side of the county, up in there. You know, Confederate Gulch, Duck Creek, we got some parcels up in there, some all the way up almost to Marr County. And then we also have some stuff down in the southern end that was part of that Limestone Hills training area that we didn't look at in the previous watershed plan, like the Limestone Hills East allotment. So, and I've got some maps here if you'd like to look up the maps. So that should be out, and then we just started, and the scoping letter went out for comment January 9th. It's called the Park Gallatin Broadwater County South Planning Area. It's basically all we had left. Kind of lumped it all in one. You know, we've got a scattering of parcels down Paradise Valley, some in Park County, Gallatin County, and then what's left in the southern end of Broadwater County. And that's out on our website, available for comment. There's a map there. Comments close the 20th, although we can really take comments anytime, but we're going to be looking at, again, grazing and travel management in those areas. And, so anyway, I can get you some more information if anyone's interested in that, or go to our website, and there's a lot of good stuff there. So. And of course, we continue to work with the Elkhorns Working Group on a variety of issues, vegetation treatments, the elk monitoring and counting that we were talking about, that type of stuff. And then weeds, I thought you might be interested in what we've done with weed spraying in Broadwater County. During 2014, we sprayed 166 acres. The county sprayed 213 acres and 360 acres on the ground and then using aerial spraying. We provided $14,800 to the county for this, and I think there's a small amount left in that assistance agreement for weed spraying. And depending on budget, we're gonna kick in another $5,000 to $10,000 for assistance during 2015. We got a note the other day from the Rod and Gun Club. They want to do a partnership on weed spraying too, so we're probably gonna have some spray days and get folks out there and spraying the gun range outside of town here, so. Yeah, that's about it. Questions?
I can tell you how much is left on our weed agreement,
How much I got left on the table?
$280.
That's what I heard this morning, so let's see if you were right on that. All
That's
right.
our weed coordinator.
That's-
Scott.
Yeah, Scott, yeah.
We just acquired the silos out here, just
Oh,
north
okay.
of town, 7 miles. And one of the big things that we relied on was the fact that you can see the Iron Mask property from there.
Oh, cool.
Thank you. And if we can help at all with the Elkhorns and the mining, what was it, the implementation agreement, we're happy to.
Yeah.
Fremont means a lot to this county, as well as the recreational benefits.
I think the big hangup is, there was a big push right after the legislation to get this mining implementation drafted up so that the Guard could get their license. We all sat down, hit it really hard, Graymont, BLM, and the Guard. We went back to the Department of Army, and that was a year ago, and we haven't heard a thing, whether they liked it, didn't like it, or what. So it's kind of, the ball's in their court. We're going to continue operating pretty much the way we have been with them in the meantime, so,
Sounds good.
yeah. Okay.
So, on your, pertaining to up there to Draymond, there was talk about, from the National Guard last year, of changing fences for boundaries due to, the implementation of the activities of the Guard, or the Department of Defense,
Okay.
that they were talking about changing boundary fences? Has there been any change in that, or?
The only discussion we've had lately about changing fences is in the Iron Mask area, outside of the training area, just to the north there, where we're talking about dividing that, making that into a forage reserve allotment and setting up some pastures for grazing rotation. I'm not quite sure what the Guard is thinking about.
Yeah, if
Fences.
I remember right, I was thinking they may have been changing, doing a little fence realignment on some of the allotments in the or in the Limestone Hills training area or something like that, but I don't know if I actually ended up doing that, but I was thinking there was gonna be some fence modifications or something like that on a small scale. I don't think it was anything real major or whatever and stuff, but I think that had more to do with some of the grazing allotments to make them a little, I don't know if functional is the right word or what, but I don't know for sure.
I know in that EA for the Iron Mask area, inside there, we did talk about straightening some fences and putting in more wildlife-friendly fences in there, so we're doing those.
Because the reason why I'm asking is, I'm part of the owner, and patents go down to the bottom of Indian Creek.
Oh, okay.
And last year, BLM contacted us,
Oh, okay, I
and
know what you mean.
through the National Guard also, that they were, between the private property and the northern, or the western expansion of the lime plant, that they were going to alter location of fences, that and further up by Sheps Gulch, they were wanting to put in new fences in part of the, like you were saying, for allotment, but they hadn't been able to actually define exactly what they were wanting to do. And so now, since this is going on, I'm wondering if BLM actually has more idea of what they're looking to do.
Yeah, and if I'm remembering correctly, that plan proposed to put a fence in there between the patented claims and Indian Creek, and the BLM, and there was a tough time figuring out the exact boundaries. It was kinda like, well, okay, if we just run the fence along this line where it makes sense, so that allotment can be managed, because I think there was some issue with cattle getting from the BLM onto the private, if I'm remembering right.
Yes.
And so they wanted to straighten that out, and make that fence so it was more maintainable. And that should be one of the actions in that draft Iron Mass planning area document.
Now, is that also part of any of the new Southern County planning that BLM's wanting to do on the 37,000 acres?
I think it's out, I think that's outside of that area.
Is that out?
Yeah.
Because I was told, because last year it was an exceptional year because of cattle,
Mhm.
lack of, in some areas. And I was told that it was because they actually feel Forest Service fixed fences that have been down for a long time. So is that any feedback?
I couldn't
to-
comment on that, but I do know that the permittees made a additional effort to ride a lot more out there and to keep the cattle moved away from that boundary, so.
Okay, because, so then I guess as far as with the line planting, that little no man, like we'll call it no man's land, there's been no change in boundaries?
Not that I'm aware of, the mine permit boundary is the same as it's been for, 7, 8 years now. So now they're still expanding within that boundary, but the
Right.
overall boundary is the same.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I should share too that Dustin Meisner and Corey Llewellyn would have been here, they had conflicts. So we'll be meeting with them again here in a couple of weeks.
Any more comments for any questions or comments? If not, I guess we'll.
I'm wondering if we can schedule our next meeting now. We'd agreed to do the first Wednesday of each quarter at 2 o'clock. That would be May 6th. Does that work for everybody? Can get it on the calendars now?
Corey still wants to come on the 9th.
Correct, and that's the next couple of weeks we just talked about. Would that date work for you guys? Just
What was that again?
May 6th at 2 o'clock? Corey had thought Wednesdays at 2, first Wednesday of the month. And Scott, from the shake of your head, we can look at another date.
Yeah, that particular Wednesday doesn't work for me. But,
How about that Monday, the 4th work,
that whole week is, I'm supposed to be somewhere else.
on vacation?
No, I wish.
Darn it.
Big meeting in Billings, so.
How does that work for the rest of you?
Without having my calendar handy, I think it should work.
Can we tentatively plan for the following Wednesday, maybe, be the 13th? Wednesday the 13th, tentatively?
The 13th?
Or
Yeah,
what about
like I say, I think either,
May the 11th? Monday is 11th.
Either one for me.
yeah.
Either one.
You won't be here, will you?
They all work for me.
For those of you who don't know, Mr. Bryant is going to be retiring. He's a short-termer here.
Right.
Sean's already throwing parties.
So are we going with the 11th, is it?
So the 11th or the 13th, which one?
Okay, how about the 11th at, what do we have before, 2?
11 o'clock.
1:45?
What's that?
1:45
On the
on
11th?
the 11th?
I think that should probably work. Yeah. Oh, you're high tech. Got a plan.
Yeah, I just forgot. 1:45 on the 11th, huh?
Okay.
All right, this is a pin, so.
It's permanent now.
Yeah, change it.
Locked in now.
What?
That telephone has light flashing on it.
No, I think it flashes all the time. Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen, for your presentation.
Thanks, you guys.
Good luck to you, Sean.
Thank you. Good luck to you too.
Thanks, John. Thanks for coming down, right at 2 o'clock, when we have those guys scheduled. The topic of the room location came up again. You and Scott had both mentioned you wanted to come in and talk about that. So, I said, hey, Paul, thank you for coming down.
Scott disappeared.
I might talk to you.
Oh, sure, that makes sense.
This is the smallest group I've ever seen.
I know, yeah.
Usually there's quite a few people. I don't know, I mean, why is it that you wanna move down here? I guess that's what my question is. And then I'll say some why you shouldn't move down here, but I mean, it's entirely up to you guys in the long run.
Well, basically, because it always has been. And just like Dave, we were upstairs this morning, now they got courts there. They're bringing prisoners through different times, and it just, this is the place it should be, really. And it was told that there was code violations, and so, I got hold of the fire marshal, and there's the report.
Yeah, I read it. And okay, for going back to the thing, how many times have you guys been kicked out of the courtroom upstairs in the last year? Twice?
Twice that I can remember.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really not an issue of moving out. Before we get to the code violations, one, there is no HVAC system in there. So you don't have the CFMs per person. I have a schedule sheet sitting right in there what was designed for in the courtroom. You need a maximum of 41 people for your HVAC system. There's no AC down here. You have a wall heater here upstairs. You have the full HVAC system heating, plus you have the airflow per person. You don't have that down here. One, I disagree with him, and for a second, he should have notified me when he came here. I am building manager at this building, and I should have been here and I was here when he probably walked through here. I mean, realistically, I should have been on site, and he should have called me and made his appointment with me. I disagree with 27 people in this room. We just had 5 people in the back room. You imagine 27 people in this room? That's great.
Then it meets code.
I
I mean,
disagree.
he's the one that.
I know, but I disagree with him.
He's measured, figured
So
it out.
see, he needs to make an appointment with me, and then him and I need to walk through it. Because I disagree with him and his calculations for this small room, with this table and the amount of people that come in here. You have a very little, small exit going out of here. I calculated about 15 people in here. And, I mean, I think he's overdoing it.
Well, and today being kicked out, Tuesday isn't our regular day.
No, it is not. You're right.
Mondays and Wednesdays, but not Tuesdays, so.
But I mean, this is the lightest crew I've ever seen at a commissioner's meeting.
Mhm.
Usually there's about 20+ people always in a commissioner's meeting.
Yeah, there hasn't been. Been around for 4 or 5, I think, lately, too, last month or two. But
In the past, it's been a very large group showing up.
we had some real large groups. And it was probably, may have been over that, I don't think it was over that 26, so.
Yeah, but you put all those people in here, you're elbow to elbow, your knees are to everybody's backs. Up there, you got room to spread, and you can fit 41 people in that room comfortably. And that's what I'm getting at, but I disagree with him, and he needs to call me and set up an appointment with me.
And with all our stuff, our commissioner was right here, right next door.
Yeah.
So back and forth and grab stuff. I mean, they met here for ever since the building was remodeled, forever, it seemed like, and there was a problem.
It's actually not true. The commissioner's meeting room used to be Debbie's office
That's
until
correct.
about less than 10 years ago. Meeting down here has only been for,
And then if I look at, when we first moved down here, this whole area out here was open, there was room for commissioners meeting down here. We were not in this room.
That's right.
And then rooms have been built and built and built to where it was moved in here. No, it has not always been in this room. Besides that, it's cold in here.
Yes, it is.
I just don't
And
think-
it isn't even particularly cold outside today. When it's cold outside, it is frigid in this room.
Elaine and I sat here with our coats on our laps more than once over the last 6 years.
I remember the day the wind was blowing upstairs, they was complaining about it was cold up there that day.
Most of the time, they don't.
I mean, you got airflow up there. Here you don't have airflow.
With all due respect, Commissioner Smithfield, you are in the vast minority in wanting to keep the meeting in this room.
I'm in the minority in everything. Like I say, I'm the most hated man in this courthouse, and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, well, you could change that if you wanted to. So,
Can I add one thing to about holding the meetings down here? As a department head and stuff, you know, as far as capacity, when we hold these department heads, meetings and stuff, he's right. You get even 15, 20 people in here, you're crammed up. I mean, it's uncomfortable. And then another thing too is being a department head with an office down here on your busy, normal scheduled days, it is very disrupting to have the commissioners' meetings down here, whether it's from public or whatever. I mean, 90% of the time when they were held down here, I had my door closed because you couldn't hardly think with the amount of noise. It's amazing, but it echoes right from here into my office and all the way down this hallway, what's going on. And I mean, if you're
We got the same
taking-
thing up there, we got from the county attorney's office and on down the hall, I mean, you're gonna have that no matter where it's at, where that goes.
I think they're more respectful upstairs than they are down here.
Mm.
Because, I mean, they come out and stand in the hallways and talking, and you're trying to talk on the phone, even when you have the door closed, they're still going through, and it's hard to work when they're out here in the halls. And Nicole would say the same thing, and Scott and I, we all feel the same way. We work down here a lot, and we don't like it. It's not, I mean, it's Mondays and Wednesdays were horrible. I mean, since I've been here, they've just been, I don't even want to come down here on commissioner days.
Most of the time I don't either. If I do, like winter times and stuff, most of the time I've got my door closed because this time of year I'm either on the phone or you know, doing emails back and forth and doing that kind of stuff. And I mean, if I don't have my door pretty much closed, I mean, to me, that's not very professional, you know, to have my door closed. The big sign on it says, yeah, open. Okay, if it's open, then why don't you have your door open? You know, but that's just my opinion, you know. But I know there for quite a while, if it was a Monday or Wednesday when I had it down here, I purposely found something to do outside because I did not want to be around here. Just, I mean, as people coming in and out, or whether they're all in here or whatever, I mean, it's very, very disrupting. And I mean, how do you, you know, perform your duties when you got people standing outside your door talking all the time? I mean, it's that way upstairs, yes, but not as bad. And then, like I say, the other thing too, as a department head, when we have these big department head meetings, it's congested, super congested.
That's the way it's. But on the fire marshal, I'd love to have a new contact, you can call me just over time, you know, come down here and talk to me.
And
I'll
I
give
would
you a
like
call.
to see,
Yeah, he should have called me and set up a appointment.
I think any future calls that are made for anybody coming in to make any determinations about the buildings, you certainly need to be in
They all
that.
do.
You're
Butte
the building
Security,
manager.
yeah, Butte Security does all of them. You go to jail, I mean, there's a problem, computer problem. I'm the first person who's called.
Yeah. We don't need to be hiding things from you. I think you need to be fully aware and informed.
All right, well, I gotta go.
Gentlemen, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate
you.
it.
There's a contribution agreement, this is sent to you, I don't know what he's talking about there now.
It was sent to me because I was the chairman of the Brevard County Commissioners, and that's what it states at the very top. So now, of course, it would move to you, Franklin, as the chairman. And this is a letter regarding the Deep Creek grant and the LiDAR study. This is a notice of closeout. We have been fully reimbursed by the NRCS, and this is just a letter for that grant to make that official.
Here's this, Corey, you'd like to get on. On March 2nd, this is a letter from Budowitz on that, drainage ditch. Let me put that down here for you. Brought in March. I guess it, let's see, what are the afternoon should have to be at 1:30 then.
When I had the safety meeting last time, yes, the doctor.
Good turnout, a little bit of a debate early on, and was extremely eloquent, as was Brian. Good meeting though, we got a lot done. Nicole won the $20, the Townsend Bucks. And, specifics, we talked about what our next trainings should be. Misty's gonna do a training on bloodborne pathogens, and we're gonna follow through. Julie took a active shooter class online. She referred everybody to the website, it's FEMA. And also Nick and Brandon and Jamie are working on a live shooter safety exercise for the courthouse.
They did that at the school recently. Lisa said it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really good one. And an important in this day and age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
darn it, I wish it wasn't, but it is.
No, me too. So, no, it was, we did have a good turnout, which was good. We had a safety lunch at the Mako conference, and 2 counties were featured. There was a savings of about $100,000. So, I don't know what the, if it was split just between those 2, what the amounts were. And then we heard from the Solid Waste Department of Park County, and he's the head of their safety. And so Brian came to lunch and was able to talk to him afterwards. They come here to tour our facility to take ideas back, and now Brian's taking their safety ideas and bringing them back. So it was a good meeting. Brian's still kind of trying to figure out what it is that people want from him, and then also going through some of the work claims. So.
Miss Ann, what were you eloquent about?
Brian and I kind of went through and explained the new safety policy. And then there was a question on it. I think we explained that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it was a good group.
It was.
Yeah. And we had it next door at the public health office. We were cozy.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
As long as it isn't hot, it'll be
Right.
okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
I would have rather been here
Right, I know it.
than going through Pistons.
Okay, here, about these codes not being take care of the commissioner's 8 hours per day. Dave, we had that set up. I brought everything in, and there was no resolutions in there. Remember that, Elaine? Because you asked where they're at. and they weren't there. Over wasn't here when she come back, then we tabled everything, and she'd had them stuck in another place down here in the commissioner's room. So anyway, nothing's happened on it. I asked Debbie to get it published in the paper again. And I thought everything was taken care of, and she was gonna check with Ann on the wordings and the dates, and then I wasn't sure if that'd be once or twice. And,
Twice, isn't it?
Yeah.
did it 2 times, or,
Mm-hmm.
I guess what I'm gonna give Tammy is the same one we had before, so there's different dates on it.
And have them run it for 2 weeks.
Right.
A couple of things on that. Elaine and I have brought this up multiple times in meetings. We've got to have these resolutions. Finally, Harold Blatty, who's the executive director of Montana Association of Counties, emailed Corey and said, hey, this commission needs to get this done. I wrote those resolutions, I had them vetted with the county attorney, I wrote the advertising, got it done. I put it on the agenda, everything was done, I put it in the mail folder. It is Franklin who did not.
Was not in the mail folder.
Do not yell, act like an adult. It was Franklin who did not collect the mail folder for the commission meeting. I was testifying at the Capitol, no, I was not here, but it is not my job to babysit a fellow commissioner. As far as getting the verbiage, the advertisements, that is the job of a commissioner. Franklin can ask for our assistance since we've done this before, but he should not be laying all these things on Ann, Tammy, and Debbie. None of those 3 is his secretary. None of those 3, Ann doesn't even work for us. She works for Doug. Tammy and Debbie are not our secretaries. It
That's
is
another
not
need why
their
we need a secretary, so
responsibility.
things like this could be lined out.
You are treating, I'm gonna show you something I got at conference. At conference, there was a discussion on 10 ways to get sued by your employees. Number 3 is one that Commissioner Salifka keeps walking us into. Failure to treat employees with respect. Last week he
Ditto
walked.
that to yourself.
I'm gonna just leave that as an example of how not only we are treated, but our employees. An employee had him walk into her office last week. He challenged her that she did something she did not do, and she has proof of that. And he left laughing at her after making her upset from calling her essentially a liar.
Who's this?
Your behavior towards our employees has got to get
I
back
have,
on a professional
what are you
par.
talking about? What employee are you talking about?
I am not gonna bring up anybody's name in this meeting. That is their right to privacy, and that's another
I've
thing
never
that
jumped
you-
on anybody in here.
And that.
That's another one of your lies.
I am going to ask for an apology from you, Franklin, because I have never lied in this meeting or to you. What Franklin is referring to is a memo that I put together regarding violations of Montana Code Annotated and Broadwater County policies by Franklin. MCA that he has violated is 7-5-2122, 7-4-102, and the policies he has violated is the Broadwater County Personnel Policy Handbook, page 46, Broadwater County's open meeting policy, mail agreement policy, policy banning John Wright from county buildings. And if Franklin isn't gonna have the characters to submit this mail for the record, I will. There's a copy.
So now I'm being lied to. Elaine, we were both lied to when she said right here, to both of us, remember, all these violations of this room. I could name off lie after lie after lie.
I don't think so, Franklin.
Franklin, I publicly demand an apology, both in writing and verbally. More mail that we have. Bob Hollister is gonna bring down a contract from the airport, that we need to sign. He's getting it signed right now by, Corey Swanson. We got it already signed by Mary Alice. This is a request that we have, from Dana. I took it out of the mail at Dana's request so that we could sure and address it. This is pictures that I will share with you, and I'll pass them the other way when you're done. What he would like to do is get our permission and our support to follow through on trade-ins or selling outright. What he'd like to do is change his water truck from one that, it's rusted out right now. He wants to get one that has a plastic lining so that it will be more efficient, he doesn't have to go through things twice. And he thinks he can actually get quite a bit in trade-in. And there's his letter. Also gonna show you something else that I shared with both Dana and Brian. And this was from conference also. I might not have brought it in after our meeting. Oh, here it is. This is public surplus. This is actually a new site offered to counties. They will actually walk people through it. You take a picture, it works just like eBay, only it's specific to counties. You take a picture of your equipment that you want to sell, you write it up, you put the price you want to sell it. The buyer pays the percentage. So as a seller, you don't pay anything to do this. People are actually getting about double to 3 times the money than they were at garage sales. Come on in, Bob. So I'm gonna share that with Mike as well, and with the sheriff's department.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's pretty good, I was there when they presented that. It's good.
Pass that back to Ann.
It's just kinda getting started there in Montana.
So I will move that we give Dana the support he wants to go ahead and follow through with his trade-ins and the selling and purchasing of the equipment he needs for his office.
Is it a motion?
It is.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and proceed with this, getting rid of some surplus equipment.
And he's got the money in his budget.
Absolutely.
And what is the last
Yeah.
part of the motion? To get rid of the surplus equipment
And to replace.
As
One
he-
and replace as needed. And also that he make contact with this, if I remember right, they're out of Utah, I guess the address is there, or Nevada.
That is a friendly amendment that I do not accept. I've already shared this with him. This is up to him. I don't think that the commission should include this into the motion because it's 2 totally different subjects. This should
So
be
I don't care if it
separate.
does it, just as long as he's got the information, I guess.
And it doesn't say even, unless I'm missing, I don't even see where it ever says a state.
Yeah, it's not just to Montana, and they advertise nationwide.
Or these-
Really?
Yeah. Maureen, Dave.
I think the 11 western states is what that fellow said.
There's a motion on the table, Franklin?
And second.
And a second.
Motion made, and second, for Dana to go ahead with his, get rid of that extra property and re-get what he needs to replace with. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
I already prepped him on what you had.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Come on up.
Okay. Well, just for everybody's knowledge, the airport had approximately $177,000 worth of non-primary entitlement money from the FAA, and you have to use that within a 2-year period. That was about to expire. It's like the end of this next month. We don't have any projects going to use it, and if we let it go, it'll go back to Washington DC and be dispersed someplace else in the country. We, in the past, as an airport board, and a lot of other airport boards in Montana and other states, you take that and you loan it to another airport
Right.
that's doing the project, and then they pay it back, and that's what this, we voted to loan the money to Fort Benton, the airport board did last Thursday meeting, and so we have to have the owner's signature, the city and the county. Mary Alice up and signed it, needs your signature, and Corey wants to research it a while before he signs his John Henry. I said, fine.
He's getting on board, that's all.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, I've known of this where you trade back and forth
Yeah,
with
yeah, we
different
do.
airports.
And here's a, let's see,
Now that-
no, it's right here. A letter that I got back from Bill Berkman today. I asked him what the standings were of our other outstanding loans and so on and so forth. Ennis and Big Sandy have paid back their loans, so that money's in the earmark fund for Broadwater County. We have $300,000, I believe, from Shelby that's out on loan, and that'll be 177 to Fort Benton. And he said, you know, you're building a good nest egg towards when we have to put our 10% up.
Right.
So
And what year is that scheduled for?
I think no later than 2022, but anytime between 2017 and 2022, whenever it deteriorates to the point that
Oh,
it's
okay.
gonna get
So you
really
can
bad,
step in on that.
then we have to put in for it, because it's about a year's distance from the time you can put in for it till you get the grant, the money, and then you can put it out for bid. So, you know, it's not an overnight process,
Right.
so.
And we did approve the CIP. We reviewed it months ago, but didn't know we had to approve it by vote.
Mhm.
So that's been officially done. We'll get you a letter and you'll
Okay.
have that.
I think I've got it right there.
Oh, perfect.
So all you need is a signature here.
All I need is your signature there, and then when Corey gives me a call, I'll bring it back to town and
And I'll move that you go ahead and sign that contract.
Second.
Question, Mike, what's his last name? You said your name?
Bob.
What is it?
Bob Hollister.
Oh, I know you.
It's 176,000, Elaine, 176,000.
We need to vote on it, Franklin. Motion's on the floor. It's been seconded.
Okay,
You need to call for the vote.
vote all in favor,
Aye.
motion passed.
This has been going on for a long time.
It's a
Yes,
good
it has.
idea.
Yeah.
It works well, I think.
But it does, you know, and this way we get to keep the money in the state of Montana and we get back.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, it's plus plus,
Yeah.
so.
It's a win-win.
thank you.
That is a good thing where these airports can change like that.
Oh, it is, yeah. I mean, it isn't only Broadwater County that's stretching budgets thin, all the counties are that way,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And I think you would just be thankful that you're not one of the counties in the Bakken.
Oh,
Can you imagine the nightmares they're going through?
No.
I don't even want to think about it.
No. No. Their opportunity hasn't been weighed with their.
No.
With
Hopefully
the
that body that's
natives.
meeting up here in Helena will get their head on the top, the right side of the body and
Yeah.
get that infrastructure money down there, because infrastructure doesn't happen overnight either.
No, and they're already so far behind.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Well, and
Yeah.
like Sydney, I mean, my gosh, they've just gotten hammered
Yeah.
because those trucks are tearing up their roads, something fierce.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think I was seeing something that in Sydney, the crime has increased 500 and some percent since this Bakken thing
Oh my gosh.
came about, and the illegal drug trade has increased 700 and some percent.
Really?
Yeah.
Them are bad numbers.
Mm.
Besides, your roads are going apart, your bridges are falling apart.
Yeah. And then retaining school teachers and law enforcement, you know,
And
to
the
address those
senior
other.
citizens that were down there in Renton, they can't afford to live anymore.
Right?
They've got to move
Yeah.
because there's no place that's reasonable to live.
I don't remember the example, but a girl that Kristen went to school with is a teacher in Williston, and to buy a can of pepper was outrageous, just outrageous. I don't remember what the amount was, but just terrible.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've heard that like at Sydney and over at Williston, the Walmart store gets stuff in, they don't even take it off the pallets, they just put pallets out.
Yeah.
And the people clean the pallets out and they bring the hotel out. That's how fast stuff is going.
Yeah. It's a different
Crazy,
world.
well, it's a
out there.
way different world, yeah.
Yeah.
And when this is all done, after he has Shoto County signatures now, Bill will be dispersing copies to everybody, so you'll get a copy, probably come in the mail to you.
Fantastic.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you.
Bob.
You bet.
There should be some mail also from NACO, JPIA and JPA Trust,
On the what?
trusts.
Gee. You have a good day.
Thanks, Bob. And there was a claim with a late charge on it for the credit card. A note from Tammy on there, who's the claims clerk.
Yeah, back in there.
We should discuss that, so we can address it.
This here?
When is Maxie scheduled?
They've already got Brian on board, so he's done, I believe he's just kind of part-time right now, but I think his license expires in April. He says he's not gonna be up at, so he can't be called. So right now, he's just kind of there training Brian.
Darn it.
I know it, yeah.
Okay, what this is, Greg Jackson, trust administrator. Flood coverage reminder, the Hartford excess property policy provides flood coverage for member counties and eligible insured in excess of federal flood insurance for flood hazard classifications, as defined in attachment number 1. As noted, federal flood coverage is required for all classifications as identified in attachment 2, except extreme high hazard, which there is no coverage. For example, if a building is located in flood zone B or the moderate hazard flood classification, then federal flood insurance is required at the $100,000 limit. Before the Hartford coverage would apply, these properties are not located in the flood zone classification, are not required to have federal flood coverage. In order to determine what flood building zone is located, please refer to the county's floodplain zone maps. If your county does not have flood zone maps or updated maps, please contact FEMA. Let us know, we'll check with your broker who has access to various maps, identify location classification. Please contact your agency securing federal flood insurance coverage if applicable. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Is there a set of floodplain maps in your office?
So what would we have, that'd be the county shop and down that area there?